Foreign Minister Linde, I want to bring you in here because when we talk about Sweden, I mean, the Foreign Minister, Melanie, was just saying that Canada is a country that's pretty far up there in terms of latitude. When you're talking about Sweden, though, you're also obviously a Nordic country, and you've taken a very different approach to COVID. You have decided to declare the pandemic over. That was partially economic, but also about mental health as well. Walk me through your strategy.
Well, let me respond to that by making three overall reflections on this. And it's clear since about a week we have more or less taken away the restrictions in Sweden. But I think it's important that we don't see this pandemic as an individual or social issue. It's also a geopolitical issue. It's a security issue. And we just see this pandemic as a tip of an iceberg. There is much more to come, unfortunately. I mean, it's antibiotic resistance, it's all those climate-related change that will also affect human beings. Just a few days ago, I presented the yearly declaration on foreign policy in the Swedish Parliament, and I actually appointed an ambassador to fight antibiotic resistance because there are so many people dying of this. Even if we are concentrating on COVID right now, this is nothing that is going to go away. Also, these geopolitical tensions are actually threatening public health. And that's why we as foreign minister are so involved also in this discussion. There is also the issue of inequality, which means that is crystal clear during the pandemic that the advantage such as vaccine has been very distributed in a very unequal way. And we need to get it in another way to make progress possible for everybody. The health issue is connected across the world. That's what the pandemic has shown us. And inequalities and inequities has increased during the pandemics. And we witness a backsliding also when it comes to gender equality. And both I and Melanie, we are representing governments that has a feminist foreign policy. What we have done also is to see that women has been much more severely hurt by the consequences of the COVID. Not COVID itself, but the consequences of COVID. So we actually started to do to bring this up as in our female foreign ministers network, and we managed to get actually a resolution through in the United Nations to see to this, because the women are being in those areas of society that has been hit the worst by the pandemic. Also part of our way of handling the pandemic has been not to have lockdowns. And in lockdowns, women has been both subjected to domestic violence, UN Women say in an increase with 30%, and also those who have to homeschool their children. So it's not just COVID and pandemic, it's the consequences of the COVID pandemic that we have to deal with as well.